Shalom, all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, double honors, and the others, great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, B'Shem Rachak Wadash. My name is Jacob from Plaintables Camp. This is the apostle going into understanding Isaiah 4:1 and 60:22. And he's looking at a video. Coach Lucky, wife takes husband to court because he wants sex too often. Well, that's why you need another wife. I mean, it's of course sort of kind of comedy, but that they would actually, put it on court TV. Cases, I guess in the States, they're allowed to be public. The public has a right to know, so they make money off of it also, because there are actual judges in this court. So Isaiah 4:1 and Isaiah 60 and the 22nd verse.
I did a video on the same subject, and I put in the word polygamy. This is still up on what do you call this? Chat GPT, and I also looked up the word adolescents. All these sisters that you deal with are adolescents. They're still mentally. When you read the definition, going from a child to a woman, it's physical, but it's also mental. You mature. You think an 8-year-old girl or boy thinks differently than a 15-year-old girl or boy, which they're young men and young women. They might be able to go on the bus and they might be able to go places. An 8-year-old can't do that. They need a parent or guardian. So it's not just physical, because you have 8-year-old children that could be 6'2". That doesn't mean that they're, ready to go out on their own, because they have a mentality of an 8-year-old. Just like the majority of these, your sisters, you guys always talk about your queens, your sisters that you get with, and you have so much trouble with. You have trouble with them because they're adolescents. They're children mentally. Physically, they might be ready. They can have babies. So you guys that got on us about the grape thing, you guys are rapists your damn self. You're getting with underage women. And I'll say 99% of them are underage on a mental level. So anyway, let's get into the story. Or let's get into the video. So this right here, and I mentioned this in another video. I thought I X'd this out, but I didn't. Now, so it says here, let's put it 3 months ago. Wife takes husband to court because he wants mechs too often, but what the judge did shocked everyone, which I didn't watch this video. So this is the Jake. Now you can look at this woman. She'll be on her back, on her knees every day that there's not the Sabbath. Brother, look at this woman. This is a good look. This is a very attractive woman. I believe she's a Jake woman, but she maybe had a Edomite mother or something like that. But if you're looking like that and you get up every morning, she's gonna be hit in the morning, and then at night she's gonna be hit at least 2-3 times a day, every day except for the Sabbath. So she's got a problem with that. But now when you go into marriage in the ancient world, you are property to this man right here. That's in the Apocrypha. I may get it, I may not. If I don't put it in the description, he that begetteth a wife getteth a possession. If you buy a car from a dealership, a brand new whatever whip, and you want to drive that thing 6 days a week or 2 days a week, the car can't tell you, well, you drive me too much or you should be driving me. The car, first of all, that's your possession. You do with it what you want to do with it. If you want to set that car on fire, you do that. Now, you can't do that to your wife, okay? Because she's a different type of possession. So anyway, now you can look at her. She's a very fit woman, pretty face. And you see that, and it get your motors started, So she's got a problem with that. Now, what would be the solution? To show you that these women are not, none of these women to me are in the truth. There's a few of them that follow us, so they're in the truth because they know the script, they watch the videos and stuff. But I would say 99% of the women among our women, they don't understand the scriptures. They don't know that the Israelites, they'll buck up against the Israelites. And a lot of you men have women spirits. You were raised up by your mother, so you pretty much a woman with muscles and a penis, with the tattoos on you. You're pretty much a woman. You do things. You're irrational. That's why Jake be pulling out. They'll be pulling out toolies, as we used to call it, And you look at them the wrong way, you look at them, they think you look at them the wrong way, they're gonna kill you. They'll go to rob a liquor store and then they can get away with the money, but they ain't happy. They got to kill somebody, they got to shoot somebody. But that's because they have demons on them. Every last one of them got demons on them, and they're emotional. They got beards, they got tattoos, they got muscles, but they're deep down, they got the spirit of a woman. So now she should have known, look, obey. If he says I want something, you gotta obey. You gotta obey. So now you got IUIC. I did a video on that. Yes, I can pull it up. Where the guy goes, adultery is if a man and woman gets married, and the man goes and sleeps with another woman, that's adultery, or the woman goes to sleep with another man, that's no, it's not. So that right there should tell you that if you part of the IUIC, you in the wrong group. You definitely in the wrong group, because that's nowhere in the scriptures. See, these guys, they teach them something. They give them the precept packet. And they just they memorize it and they regurgitate it, but they don't think. These guys do not think. They're not like the Church of Berea, and that goes for the leadership. That goes for the bishops, the deacons, and Deacon Ethan. You should be ashamed of yourself, man, because you know the scriptures and you study. You know goddamn well. I'm talking about the tallest man in IUIC, Deacon Ethan. He told me. Now I want him to come up and say I never said that, and I said okay, I'm sorry, but that was you. Paul Kersey, a.k.a. Paul Kersey, you said back in, I believe, with 2016, 2017, around there, that you write to the MOTB is the MOTB is a microchip. And then maybe 2 years went down, and you said, "Oh, that already happened." But what happened to you? One old wine bottle. I gave you something new. You said it made sense. It leaked out, and there's no more in you, no more in you. So you should have you hid it in a napkin. Luke was at Luke 19. She found out he was kind of dealing with another woman, and she had a problem with it. Well, wait a minute, if you're an Israelite, you ain't supposed to have a problem with that at all. It says it's polygamy biblical. Excuse me. Polygamy is found in the Bible, but it's present is descriptive rather than prescriptive, meaning the Bible records instances of, like, it didn't happen all the time, but it does not endorse it as an ideal. Well, no, in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to definitely be an ideal. Old Testament polygamy was practiced by several key figures. Abraham had Sarah and also took Hagar. Jacob had two wives, Leah and Rachel, and two concubines, two of their handmaids. So if you had handmaids, women had handmaids, they would sometimes say, "Go and lay with my husband, and whatever comes out, that becomes my son." But in the case of Sarah, she said that she was the one that presented Hagar to Abraham so she could have a son and say that, but she wasn't feeling it. She wasn't feeling that connection, so she got emotional, right? David had multiple wives and concubines. King David had multiple wives and concubines. They didn't even give you an exact number. So now you go back to IUIC. They said, "Oh, if you have a woman, you get married to that woman. If the man in that marriage goes and get another woman, that's adultery." They're going. I don't see why you guys don't get up and leave the IUIC. You don't, because you're under a fucking zombie spell. A remnant prepared. Prepared for what? The kingdom. So anything that you read down here is talking about the coming up to the kingdom. This is before the kingdom. The first chapter is talking about before the kingdom. It says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." I'm not going to go into, matter of fact, let me do this. That 7 women will fight for each man. I like this version. Saying, "Let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothes. You don't got to take care of us." Now, you know how you got Jake men taking out Jake women, they order everything on the menu, be $700 worth of stuff, and guys get up and walk out on them? Well, they're going to say, "Don't worry about it. You don't got to pay for nothing. Well, I'll pay for you. I'll take you out. I'll cook for you. I'll clean. I'll take care of myself. But let me deal with you to take away my reproach." Meaning, let me have your name and let me be pregnant by you. That's what Elizabeth said, which is the mother of John the Baptist, the father Zacchaeus. When she got pregnant with John the Baptist, she said that thou hast taken away my reproach, because they were up in age. Only let us take your name so we won't be mocked as old maids. I remember as a kid, back in the 60s, man, if you're 20 years old, you better be married. You better 19, 20 years old, 18 years old, you better be married. If you're 25 years old, you ain't got a man, you ain't got no kids, they talking shit. Oh, you know, she an old maid. You're an old maid. Ain't nobody want her. That was part of a woman's makeup, man. She's supposed to make kids. Now the men, if men out there in the world, if they don't have kids, they're like, oh, good. I'm gonna deal with all that bullshit. But in this kingdom, you're gonna have many, many children. I'll say like Mr. Johnson, many children. Y'all don't know him. That goes back to in the 80s in the old school, One West. But in that day, the branch of Yahweh will be beautiful and glorious. That's the kingdom. Because the preparation, this the 7 women that take hold of one man is going to take place before the kingdom comes. And then it's going to be escalated in the kingdom. So it's going to go from 7 women to 700, right? A glorified Zion, meaning this is talking about the kingdom, how it's going to be done, what things are going to happen in the kingdom. A prelude to what the kingdom is going to be or be like. When you read this chapter, it's talking about other nations going into slavery under you. That's what it's talking about. Then you go into Isaiah 61, it's also talking about how the other nations are going to go into slavery. Isaiah 49, the other nations are going to go into slavery under you. Isaiah 14, the other nations are going to go into slavery.
Right. This precept did not disannul because Cesare Borgia, so-called white man, came and saved everybody on the earth. Because that shit never happened. All right. The Messiah is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah of the nation of Israel. And he came to save only the Israelites, and the other nations are going to say, the other nations are going to serve, not save, the other nations are going to serve Israel. All right. So the prophecy of Isaiah is in full effect. All right. When the Messiah come, Yahweh Shai, his second coming, he's going to come as a spiritual force, and he's going to recover his remnant first. And then in the kingdom, the rest of Israel is going to come. These and the Gentiles will come to light, and kings and brightness they come. Yeah, because they're going to serve the Israelites.
So the kingdom's going to be built up by our slaves, which are the other nations. If you're not an Israelite, you're going to be a slave. The ones that's going to get it hardest are the Edomites. A little one shall become 1,000. A little one is talking about an insignificant man in Israel shall become 1,000. You're going to have at least 1,000 children. And a small one, a what? A strong nation. That means you're going to have multiple thousands of children. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in its time. When it says I, Yahweh, will hasten it in its time, meaning when the kingdom comes and before the kingdom. Remember, a glorified Zion, right? A remnant, the elect prepared. The preparation time. Oh, when the Sabbath comes, the Passover come in, don't you have prep time? That means a couple of hours you're going to have to present that dinner, to your husband or whatever. I'm talking about the Passover. So the prep time comes before the sun goes down, not when the sun is down. A remnant prepared, prep. That's called prep time. So when we go out on the highways and the byways, when brothers start gathering more than one woman, that's prep time for the kingdom because it's going to be magnified in the kingdom. So anyway, Shalom.
Right, in that day, where the apostle went over it, I believe I caught it, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach or our shame. All right. So in that day, it's not going to be any negotiations on whether you get to have more than one woman. Right now, Esau Edom has elevated the woman so that she actually believes she has power, and she does have some real power. All right. But at the end of the day, it's only whom the Lord set up. All right. Right now, the Lord set the woman up to be to have more power than she would normally have. He set her up. All right. So, and then now she's wicked. She's not righteous for that. Like he set the so-called white, like Yahweh Shai set the so-called white man up. He's not righteous for that. He's going to be destroyed. So long as that evil reigns, is subject to destruction. Same thing for the woman. So long as that evil reigns in that woman, she's subject to destruction. All right. So she was set up. She's going to go down. Esau was set up. He's going to go down. All right. So the elect woman she's going to finally get it. All right. And the rest are going to be totally destroyed, and they'll be born in the kingdom. All right. So 7 women represents a complete number. Whatever number, that could be 7, that could be 20, it could be 500. All right. Depends on how many men that are of the elect are available. All right. So I'll leave that there. Hope you're edified. Shalom.